Under the glaring stage lights of London's West End, Sam Heughan was supposed to be invincible. The rugged charm that made him famous as Jamie Fraser in Outlander had now turned him into the centerpiece of Shakespeare's Macbeth. But behind the velvet curtains and the applause, something darker was brewing, something even Sam couldn't mask with his usual confident smile. The first whispers began quietly. A few fans noticed he looked unusually pale in recent photos. Others caught short clips of him leaving the theater late at night, head down, shoulders tense. "He's just tired," people said at first, but those who worked beside him every day could sense it, an exhaustion that wasn't normal. During rehearsals, Sam pushed himself to the edge. He insisted on redoing every scene, perfecting every word until his voice cracked. The role of Macbeth demanded intensity, madness, and despair, and Sam was giving all of himself to it. Too much, perhaps. One evening, in the middle of a scene drenched in fury, his hand trembled as he gripped the prop sword. For a second, his knees seemed to give way. The entire room froze. "Sam, take a break," someone whispered. But he shook his head, forcing a grin. "I'm fine," he muttered. Lia Williams, his co-star and longtime friend, wasn't convinced. She had seen that same look before, the distant stare, the shallow breath. After rehearsal, she found him sitting alone in the dressing room, face buried in his hands. The mirror lights reflected the sweat on his temples. His breathing was uneven. "Sam," she said softly, "are you sure you're okay?" He looked up and tried to laugh, but his voice was hoarse. "Just tired, Lia. You know how it is. Macbeth doesn't sleep, and apparently, neither do I." She smiled, but uneasily. Something in his tone felt wrong. Behind that familiar humor, there was fear, a quiet, hidden kind of fear. The next day, Sam didn't show up on time. The assistant director said he'd called in late, claiming a bit of a headache. Yet when he arrived, the makeup artist noticed his hands were shaking. His usually steady posture was gone. Every line of dialogue seemed to drain him further. Behind the scenes, whispers grew louder. Some crew members thought he was simply overworking. Others believed he was hiding something, an injury, maybe, or worse, a serious illness. Rumors began circulating online. Fan forums speculated wildly. Was Sam Heughan sick? Was the stress of Macbeth too much for him? Sti. Lia could only watch, torn between admiration and worry. She tried to persuade him to see a doctor, but he laughed it off. "You worry too much," he said. "Macbeth's madness is contagious, that's all." Yet even as he joked, the truth was catching up with him. Late one night, after everyone had left, Lia returned to grab her bag, and stopped short. Through the crack of the dressing room door, she saw Sam still inside, sitting motionless. His head was bowed, one hand clutching his chest. His lips were moving as if reciting lines, but the words came out broken, barely audible. "Sam," she whispered, stepping in. He startled, eyes wide. "Lia, you shouldn't be here." "You're not okay," she said firmly. He didn't answer. For a moment, his eyes flickered, half defiance, half defeat. Then he managed a weak smile. "Just a dizzy spell. Don't make a scene, yeah?" But Lia knew this wasn't just exhaustion. This was something deeper, something dangerous. The following morning, during a full run-through, Sam stumbled in the middle of the soliloquy, his most powerful moment. The room went silent as he caught himself on the edge of the stage. His breathing was ragged, his face pale as chalk. A stagehand rushed forward, but Sam waved him off and forced the scene to continue. Out, brief candle," he whispered, voice trembling with both emotion and pain. The irony wasn't lost on anyone in the room. When the rehearsal ended, Lia stood beside him backstage. He was drenched in sweat, but he still smiled. "Told you I'd make it through," he said quietly. She didn't smile back. "For how long, Sam?" He didn't reply. That night, the production team held an emergency meeting. Something had to be done. The star of the play was burning out before their eyes, but Sam wouldn't admit defeat. As the theater lights dimmed, a heavy silence filled the room. No one dared to say it aloud, but everyone knew. If he kept going like this, the next time Sam Heughan fell, he might not get back up. The announcement came without warning. A single message from the production's official account appeared on social media. Tonight's performance of Macbeth has been postponed due to unforeseen circumstances. No explanation, no details, but fans didn't need much time to guess. Within minutes, #Sam Heughan and #Macbeth trended worldwide. Speculation spiraled. Some claimed he'd been hospitalized. Others insisted he'd quit the show altogether. Inside the theater, the truth was far more fragile than the rumors. Sam had collapsed in the wings the night before, just moments after delivering one of his most haunting monologues. The paramedics were discreet, the management careful. They called it a minor incident, though everyone who witnessed it knew better. Lia Williams was there. She had seen the way his knees buckled, the way his hand clutched the side of the stage as if fighting an invisible enemy. She'd rushed to him, calling his name, but his eyes had already rolled back. When he came to, he refused to go to the hospital. "I just need rest," he said weakly. "Don't make this bigger than it is." But it was already bigger. The cast was shaken, rehearsals halted. Producers held quiet discussions behind closed doors. One of them suggested finding a temporary replacement. Another muttered that the show couldn't survive another delay. Lia listened in silence, fury boiling beneath her calm exterior. "You can't replace him like he's a broken prop," she finally snapped. "He's the soul of this production." Still, even she knew the truth. Sam's body was failing faster than his willpower could save it. For days, he remained silent on social media. The man who once shared workout clips, whiskey smiles, and motivational posts had vanished from the digital world. Fans grew desperate for reassurance. Some shared old interviews, others posted prayers. One comment under an old video summed it up best: "Sam gave everything to his roles. Maybe this time, too much." When Lia finally spoke publicly, her words broke the internet. Standing outside the theater, surrounded by reporters, she took a deep breath. "Sam is one of the most dedicated actors I've ever known," she began. "He's been pushing himself beyond limits for months, and it's taken a toll. Right now, he needs space and time to heal. He's not just fighting Macbeth's demons, he's fighting his own." That final line spread like wildfire. Fans reposted it with captions like, "He's human too," and "Protect Sam at all costs." The comment sections filled with messages of love and concern. Even fellow actors from Outlander chimed in, expressing support. Behind closed doors, Lia visited him. Sam was resting at home, pale but smiling faintly when she entered. The room was dim, scripts scattered on the coffee table, the air thick with silence. "I made the headlines again, didn't I?" he joked softly. "You scared everyone, you idiot," she replied, voice cracking. He looked down, then said something she would never forget. "I thought if I kept going, I could outrun it, the pain, the exhaustion. But you can't act your way through something your body refuses to do." Lia reached for his hand. "Then stop trying to be indestructible. You've already proved enough." Outside, the theater lights stayed dim for a few nights. The cast waited, uncertain whether their Macbeth would ever return. But in that quiet space, something remarkable happened. Instead of fading, Sam's legend grew. His fans didn't turn away, they united. The #Pray for Sam turned into #Stand by Sam, filling timelines with gratitude, not gossip. A week later, a brief statement appeared on his official account. "Thank you all for your concern. I'm taking time to recover and reflect. Acting has always been my passion, but health must come first. Macbeth will wait, but I promise, I'll be back." The post was signed simply, "Love, Sam." The reactions were immediate: tears, applause, thousands of comments calling him brave. Lia shared it with a caption of her own: "Sometimes strength means stepping away." The world finally saw Sam not as an untouchable star, but as a man. One who had given everything for his craft, and was finally learning to protect what mattered most. The curtain on Macbeth would eventually rise again, with Sam returning months later, leaner but stronger, his performance deeper, almost hauntingly real. But that's another story. For now, all that remained was the quiet echo of his last words before stepping off the stage that night. Out, out brief candle. The audience never heard the lines ending, but they didn't need to. They understood. Sometimes the brightest flames burn fastest, and in that fleeting brilliance, Sam Heughan reminded the world why even a hero needs to rest before the spotlight goes dark forever.